Kick-ass facts! Pew, 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 pew! Let's talk about some thought experiments. I may have told you about these before. I have a terrible memory. The ship of Theseus. This thought experiment questions the nature of identity over time. If a ship's wooden parts are gradually replaced with new ones, at what point does it cease to be the original ship? If all the parts are replaced, is it still the same ship? If you're a fan of the show The Good Place, you probably know about the trolley problem. Side note, Ted Danson is such a great actor that in 1984, when he was in a movie called Something About Amelia, where he played a handsy stepfather, it ruined him for me for decades. I had a hard time watching Cheers. Anywho, you're standing by a track switch when a runway trolley approaches. You can divert it onto a track where it will kill one person instead of 5. The experiment contrasts utilitarian ethics, maximizing overall good, with deontological ethics. Some actions like killing are always wrong. You probably also know this one, Schrodinger's cat. A cat is placed in a sealed box with a radioactive atom that has a 50% chance of decaying, triggering a poison release that kills the cat. According to quantum mechanics, until you open the box and look, the cat is in a state where it's both alive and dead at the same time. This is called superposition. Once you open the box and observe, the cat will be either alive or dead. The act of looking collapses the superposition into one of two definite states. The brain in a vat. Can we ever really know the world outside of our perceptions? Imagine that your brain has been removed and placed in a vat of life-sustaining liquid, with its nerve endings connected to a supercomputer that simulate your experiences. How would you know that your experiences are real and not just simulations? The Gettier problem. Let's say you think you see a sheep in a field, but it's actually a dog disguised as a sheep. But there happens to be a real sheep hidden behind a tree, but you can't see it. Your belief that there is a sheep in the field is true, even though it wasn't actually a real sheep. Sometimes you can have a true belief, you thought you saw a sheep and there was an animal that looked like a sheep, and have good reasons for believing it. You saw a fluffy, adorable animal, but it doesn't always mean you really know in the way that we think of knowing something. Mary's room. Mary knows everything about color scientifically, but she has lived her entire life in a black and white room and has never actually seen colors. When she finally sees color for the first time, does she learn something new? Is knowing all the facts about something the same as actually experiencing it? Even though Mary knew everything about colors before experiencing them was new for her. Teletransportation. Imagine, if you will, a teletransportation machine that can disassemble your body at one location and reassemble it atom by atom at another location. Yeah, I saw The Fly, and it did not end well for Jeff Goldblum. The question is, would the person who arrives at the destination be the same person who was disassembled? If your original body is destroyed and a new one created, is the reassembled person really you or just a perfect copy? Is it still you? And if it is, what does you mean? There's another one like this called the Swamp Man. Imagine you're walking in a swamp when suddenly, due to a freak lightning strike, your body is vaporized, and at the exact same moment, a perfect duplicate of you is spontaneously formed from the surrounding materials. The Swamp Man. The Swamp Man has all of your memories, thoughts, and personality traits. Does the Swamp Man have the same identity as you? Does it have genuine thoughts or just processes that mimic your thoughts? Molyneux's problem. Suppose a person born blind who has learned to distinguish objects like a sphere or cube or water bottle by its touch suddenly gains the ability to see. Would they be able to visually distinguish these objects without touching them? Or would they need to learn to associate the visual appearance with the tactile experience? This explores the relationship between perception and knowledge, particularly whether sensory information is processed independently or if our understanding of the world is built from integrated experiences. The experience machine. Philosopher Robert Nozick, his thought experiment asks whether you would choose to plug into a machine that could give you any experience you desire, indistinguishable from reality. Once plugged in, you would not know it was a simulation. He argued that most people would not choose to plug in because they value genuine experiences, reality, and personal growth over mere pleasure. This thought experiment explores what we truly value in life and whether our experiences need to be real in order to have value or meaning. I would be plugged in 24/7. Do you understand? Like, my dream, if I had $1 bajillion, I would fund holodeck technology from Star Trek, and that's where I would spend the majority of my time. Are you kidding me?